And welcome on in for some Elden Ring 2022. This is the easy guide. How to get to 100%, how to get your platinum, how to get your 100% gamer score, Steam gamers achievements, however Steam works. I'm not even sure anymore. How to finish the game 100%. Now, it can be done solo. We've done it solo. But if you haven't played the game yet, then yeah, of course, just like Dark Souls, there's co-op. So you could summon people in. Easy peasy. Makes it a hell of a lot funner, in my opinion, as well. And you get to immortalize someone, happy days, in my opinion. Now, this game gives you Ash summons now as well, which is very interesting. So, yeah, if you haven't seen this, sit back and enjoy. What class to use? I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do there, but I think, for the sake of it, Samurai is definitely the easiest to start with and work with since you have bleed right off the bat. So I highly recommend, if it's your first time, definitely check out Samurai and just use the Uchi pretty much that you start with. Like, you don't need another weapon, long story short, until you get, if you're going Faith or Intelligence, whatever you want to do personally. Then there's weapons that better fit that route. But I think for our little adventure here, we're going to go either Hero or Wretch. Just trying to decide. Let's go. Could go Confessor as well. 3, 7. It's gonna... You know what? Let's go Confessor. And let's go type. I'm not even gonna look. Eh? Alright. Name. Hundo. Keepsake, Golden Seed. Should call him Ragnar, to be honest. See if I can get some tats here. Fit. Not really liking any of them, to be honest. Let's go with Muscle Man. Just a little bit different, you know. Nothing too crazy. Let's go.
The fallen leaves tell a story. The great Elden Ring was shattered. In our home, across the fog, the lands between. Now, Queen Marika the Eternal is nowhere to be found. And in the night of the Black Knives, Godwyn the Golden was first to perish. Soon, Marika's offspring, demigods all, claimed the shards of the Elden Ring. The mad taint of their newfound strength triggered the shattering. A war from which no lord arose. A war leading to abandonment by the greater will. Oh, rise now, ye tarnished, ye dead who yet live. The call of long-lost grace speaks to us all. Horalu, chieftain of the Badlands, the ever-brilliant Gold Mask. Fear, the deathbed companion, the loathsome dung-eater, and Sir Gideon Ofnir, the all-knowing. And one other, whom grace would again bless. A tarnished of no renown. Cross the fog to the lands between. To stand before the Elden Ring. And become the Elden Lord.
And so our adventure begins. Now, there's going to be two options here. Option A, you can fight that and tickle it until it's dead. Or option B. Since you have to die anyway.
Don't worry, Torrent. Fortune is on his side. We found him here, after all. One of his kind is sure to seek the Elden Ring. Even if it does violate the Golden Order.
Alright. Now. Down here. It's kind of considered like the tutorial area. But. I think there is one item at the end. We'll see what it is. If you start with any class of a shield, just go behind that guy. Just kite him. Give him a nice little backstab. This is where the game starts teaching you about crouching in the grass, etc. That was a player message, but Hmm. So yeah, I remember this item up here. I just don't remember what it was. Let me see. So yeah, it is an emote. Strength, as I thought it was, but I didn't want to say. Perfect. I just knew it was an important item. So we learned together. So this dungeon right here, these little statues, they require these certain keys. Stone sword key. You'll see this one needs 2, because it goes into their heads, or their mouths rather. But pretty much their heads. You see the little slot there. But this dungeon here, it's a little bit crazy. So that'll be the last one we come back to before we move on to the next map. It'll be a lot easier that way. Fingers sever via multiplayer co-ops. You can send them home, or you can send yourself home if you get summoned yourself. Put your sign down to get summoned. Just like Dark Souls. Demon Souls, Bloodborne.
Oh, yes. Tarnished, are we? Come to the lands between for the Elden Ring, hmm? Of course you have. No shame in it. Unfortunately for you, however, you are maidenless. Without guidance, without the strength of runes, and without an invitation to the Round Table Hold, you are fated, it seems, to die in obscurity. Luckily for you, however, there is one shining ray of hope for even the maidenless. Me, Vare. Take care to listen. Are you familiar with grace? The golden light that gives life to you, Tarnished. You may also behold its golden rays, pointing in a particular direction at times. That is the guidance of grace, a path that a Tarnished must travel. Indeed. Grace's guidance holds the answers. It will lead you, Tarnished, to the path you are meant to follow, even if it leads you to your grave. Grace's guidance will reveal the path forward, most certainly, to Castle Stormvale, over on the cliff, the home of the decrepit demigod, Godric the Grafted.
Alright. Now, if you have a keen eye, you can actually see exactly where we were at the beginning of the game over there, just above our character's head. There's the church we started in, the big statue, where we fought the boss, jumped off. We will return there. There's items that only pop up there later, well, technically now. And when we go back there, it's just easier to pick everything up there and fight the boss all at once, so. And you'll be a little bit more powerful, so. Just a whole bunch easier. So you can go ahead with the flasks and add that charge of that golden seed if you started with it. Makes that a little bit easier as well. You can add these however you like. If you're using magic, if you're planning on whatever you're planning on. I always like to have at least just one, just in case. You never know. Confessor starts with a heal. Silence your footsteps, reduce fall damage. It's actually really good. Now, you'll come across these during your playthrough. These are called summoning pools. Now, every time you activate one, that means every time you use this to put your sign down in the area, it'll put your sign down in all the pools that you've activated. Only the ones that you've activated. So if there's an area that you're like, no, okay, I never want to play this area again. If I put my sign down, I do not want to get even summoned here. Just don't even activate the summoning pool. But if you ever want to summon someone around this area, you'll have to use an item we don't have just yet, but we'll get very soon. And when you see their sign pop up around here, you can go ahead and summon them. That's how those work. And here's this item here. Now you're gonna probably see this, or I've already seen this guy roaming around. You can fight him right now. You can kill him right now. But I highly suggest you do not. What we're gonna do is we're gonna head north. Just around this guy. You'll come up to this broken down church. Church of Ella. You'll see this nice, kind looking merchant sitting here. Go ahead and leave him be for a moment. Take this. This is your smithing stone. Now, smithing stones in this, they work kind of like the other games, but a little bit different at the same time. Anyway, long story short, there's two different kinds of stones. You'll get smithing stones and somber smithing stones. Normal smithing stones like this are used for normal weapons that go up to a plus 25 max, as some somber stones go up to a plus 10 max, and they're considered like unique weapons, special weapons, like boss weapons kind of ordeal. Now this particular anvil, I think you can only go up to plus 3, if I remember correctly. I've only used it the one time, to be fair. But I'm pretty sure you can only go up to plus 3 with here.
You're a tarnished. I can see it. And I can also see that you're not after my throat. Then why not purchase a little something? I am Carly, purveyor of fine goods. I am of a nomadic people, selling wares as I travel. The land has been tainted by madness since the shattering of the Elden Ring. It's only tarnished like yourself, who keep things from drying up entirely. Let's say you're a very welcome customer. You know, if you can spare the runes, you should buy yourself a crafting kit. A crafting kit allows you to make basic items on your own. Essential, really, if you intend to survive out here for any duration. The kit costs a bundle, and I admit I do take my cut. But the important thing is that you survive. Every customer counts, after all.
So yeah, what you're going to want to do here, if you've saved up or have enough runes, if not, just go ahead and go around and kill some enemies that I'll show you right quickly just after this. But you want to go buy this crafting kit, very important. And then what I recommend, if you have 200 left, buy this torch. And then once we come back, we'll be buying the telescope, cracked pots, and then these books. These books you'll find throughout the game, different kinds of books. Those are your recipes. See this one's like bone arrows, different kinds of meats, glowstone, holy water, pots. Some good stuff. Anyway. Long story short.
I'm glad you took my warning to heart. You've made an excellent choice.
There we go. So when you open up your menu, you got your crafting kit now. these items here, the fur calling fingered remedy. These are like your humanities, sort of, in a way. Like there's two in this game. There's two different kinds of ways, like humanities, if you remember, except and stuff like that, works. Well, in this one activates the co-op and like the invasions, etc. It doesn't do anything to like your health or anything like that. Yeah, let's see. This one takes 2 Erdleaf flowers. I'll show you. Make sure you grab this grace point, of course. So these flowers, you'll find them throughout the game. Here's one here. Erdleaf flower. There'll be another one just up the road. So you go ahead and go to your crafting kit. It takes 2 to make 1. So just always remember that. Also, these red flowers that we've been finding in dungeons already and outside. These make Roa raisins that you can make to feed to your mount in the game. To heal it. It's actually, I'm pretty sure there's might even be more than 2 ways to heal your mount, but at least 2 ways I know. It's either your flask, which is a flask of crimson tears at the bottom here, the red one, or those raisins. Not too bad. Now, you'll hear this noise. Throughout the game, you'll hear that noise. You'll see this kind of orb. There's going to be different colors of them, or different, like, pigments, etc. If it's red, it'll give you more flasks, if you're out of flasks. If it's blue, it gives you blue flasks, your mana, FP. And if it's like a solid grayish color, it usually drops you like a stone or something. And then there's like various different colors. It'll give you what are called Ashes of War in this, which are like the skills of the weapons, kind of. Long story short, we'll get to that. But just always look out for that noise. Look out for them. Usually give you something real good. Now you can clear this area. It's nothing too crazy, but what we're gonna do. Sit down at this particular grace point.
Greetings, traveler from beyond the fog. I am Melina. I offer you an accord. Have you heard of the Finger Maidens? They serve the 2 fingers, offering guidance and aid to the tarnished. But you, I am afraid, are maidenless. I can play the role of maiden, turning runes into strength to aid you in your search for the Elden Ring. You need only take me with you to the foot of the Erd Tree.
Now, of course, you're going to want to accept here.
Then it's settled. Summon me by grace to turn runes into strength. Ah, another matter. I bequeath to you this ring.
Now this here is your mount. You're going to want to put this on your item bars, whichever bar you want, of course, but it makes it a lot quicker.
Use it to traverse great distances. It will summon a spectral steed named Torrent. Torrent has chosen you. Treat him with respect.
Alright, now we have the ability to level up now. Won't do that just yet. Now, on the PlayStation controller, what I like doing is I like putting it like right here. You can put it wherever you want though, of course. You can put it on that bar, you can put it on this bar here if you really want. Right? Doesn't matter. Anyway, onward. What we're gonna do, we're gonna loot some important stuff from this place. And then we're gonna move on to some NPCs, some items that you should grab on the way, and then we're gonna make our way to some things. So it's gonna be a little bit of a journey. Probably not a lot of talking on my part, since there's gonna be a lot of talking from NPCs, etc. So here we go. Hopefully we don't die and enjoy the ride. You can only get these chests when the enemies... These ones here, are you can open them no matter what, since they're stopped, nothing's moving. But if you've been moving around the map and you happen to see something that's pulling one around, you have to make it stop first. Then you can open it up. And you got yourself a flail now as well. There's a couple more things that we can grab here. Just want to look around and make sure you're safe before going in, because it's going to get a little bit risky here. Gonna want to go down here. The horse can get in, but you gotta be tricky. And there you go. You get your first Ash of War, and you get the whetstone knife. This whetstone knife is especially useful because every time you sit down at a grace, you can now equip the Ashes of Wars. Ashes of War. To your weapons by yourself. You don't need like an NPC or anything like that to do it for you. It's definitely a lot more useful. Ash of War. This one here in particular, you see it says this Ash of War grants an armament the quality affinity. So, which means Ashes of War, when you equip them in weapons, not only does it give them a new skill, it changes the affinity on it as well. So, long story short, like it would change, let's see, say like the flail, say if you put something that said it would change the Ash of War would give this armament the heavy affinity, you know what I mean? It would usually change like say like this DD to just like a C or B strength and then nothing else. So it'd be a strength flail kind of thing, right? So that's kind of how the Ashes of War work in this. It's pretty interesting, but there's been a lot of controversy. But I like it. I think it's alright. I believe there's one more thing that we really want to grab here. And it should be inside this tower. Per se. No? Let me see. Guess I'm thinking of a totally different area. Maybe I'm thinking of the network test still. Either way, you can kill all those guys if you'd like for like a bunch of runes or whatever you want, but totally up to you. And of course, when you sit down at grace points, enemies reset, so just be wary of that. Actually, what we're gonna want to do here at the moment, you'll notice at these grace points you can pass time, just like the Witcher, you know, other games, etc. What we're gonna want to do is go to morning, so we have the most amount of time in the day before things get spicy. Because if you ever played, like, long story short, zombie games or anything like that, they're like, enemies get crazier at nighttime. Like, I'm trying to think of the one zombie game.
You there? Could you help us out, Cully?
Dying Light, that's what it's called. At nighttime, things get a little bit spicy, and it's just the same in this. So you'll notice.
Yeah, you there? Stop pretending you can't see me.
You'll notice that we're getting chirped at here a little bit, and we picked up an item there, a tear leaf.
Why won't anyone look me in the eye? I'm not that ugly, am I?
So if you have a headset on, it's quite easy to kind of tell where he is, and then if you're online, there's obviously going to be messages, but it's like the one little bush that sticks out. You're not going to really want to attack it, just kind of roll into it.
What'd you go and do that for? Oh, yes, I remember. Some clod turned me into a tree. You were just breaking the spell, weren't you? Thank you. The name's Bok. I was pushed out of the cave. Told not to come back. Not ever. Then I ended up as a tree. Lucky you came along, really. Oh, what a shame. When they threw me out of the cave, they took everything I owned. And so this is all I have to express my thanks. I hope you can forgive me. Or, well, if you can afford to wait for a while, I could sneak back into the cave and bring back something of actual value. Then I'd be of some real use to you, I reckon. Right, but I'll need a moment. I'm frightened of them, so I have to gather myself. My knees start knocking, just thinking about that god-awful cave on the shore. Right, but
there you
I'll
go.
need a moment.
You always want to talk to your NPCs until their dialogue is repeating / exhausted. And we're on our way. So that Ash War in particular gives you the heavy infinity that we were talking about. If you did want like a strength flail. I'm not sure if you can put it on it, but you can always give it a try. Alright, see, here we go. We got one of these carriages we were talking about just earlier. You see something's pulling it. Just go ahead and give it a little smack. And if you're lucky, and if you're fast enough, you can go ahead and try and open that up. I've never seen it get busted before, to be honest. It straight up took the item away too, so I'm guessing like if you sit down at a grace point it respawns. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, you should be able to grab it fast enough. I've never seen that happen before, and I've grabbed it many times. Pretty funny though. Anyway, that will be your great axe. If you're ever looking for the great axe, that is where that is. We'll go back to it throughout the playthrough. It's fine. Not a big deal. Here you got yourself an Ash War. This one's really risky, so you want to be super quick. I usually like to go in with a heavy attack there. A couple of little swipes gets it down. Got yourself a grace point just over here. Go ahead and reset the area if you'd like. Get your flasks. Now what we're gonna do, see if you see this smoke in the area, you want to go towards this. You'll see this big structure. Head towards this big structure. You come across a very interesting, very cool NPC.
You must be the new Tarnished. You do well to steer clear of a Gill Lake, fledgling. A dragon roosts there, and it's as fearsome as it is majestic. So, unless you're mad, or wish to be burned alive, stay clear of the lake. Don't be a fool. Turn back before it's too late.
So you can either take his advice or not, and it's totally up to you. Now, as a confessor, we're going to make this a little bit easier, of course, if you start with confessor. If you started with the samurai, like we were saying at the beginning of the stream there, the beginning of the video, it's definitely the easiest since you start with a bleed weapon. I mean, you can start, I'm pretty sure the bandit, its knife has bleed on it as well, but it is a knife, so unless you're okay with that, then I'd say that the samurai is definitely the way to go. They both start with bows, yet the samurai has a little bit better armor and fire arrows at the same time, so it's teach your own kind of thing. Teach your own. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna head south really quick. Since we have that grace point, we can always just teleport back. We're gonna take the opportunity to go head up here. You'll see a little altar just on the side of the mountain. You're going to want to grab these throughout your playthrough if you ever find these. You'll get starlight shards. It'll always be near one of those, so just look out for one of those. They do give you FP back, but I highly recommend you don't use them. They're going to be used for something else throughout the playthrough as well. Go ahead and jump up here. It's right here. It's our first intelligence sorcery scroll of the game. Now what we can do is head back to the cliff, or we jumped up with that slipstream, as I like to call them. I think they're called spirit streams. If you land in the like close vicinity of it, you won't take any damage from the fall. Very handy. Now this bridge is very dangerous. You'll see a ballista on the other side. Go ahead and bait it. If you have the horse, it makes this a lot easier. Grab that item there. There's your stone ward keys. Stone sword keys. You'll notice a little bit of carnage happened here.
Hello? Is somebody there? Might I bend your ear for a moment, please? My name is Irina. I've escaped from Castle Morn to the south. The servants there have rebelled. I can't be sure what it is. My eyesight's been weak since birth, you see. But I swear I heard frightful howling from all over. My good father secreted me out the castle, but decided himself to stay. He says it's his duty. As commander. I fear for father's life. The servants are full of wrath, filled with hatred for every one of us. They've since come for every one of the companions I escaped with. They haven't spared a soul. I fear it's no different at Castle Morn. Please, I implore you, would you mind taking a letter to my father? At the castle, my sole wish is that he escape, even if his honor should be the price. Please. I just want him to be safe. Thank you. Dearly. Then please, take this. Deliver it to my father, who remains in the castle, if you please.
Alright. So you notice there's just bodies everywhere. You notice a troll that's just kind of been abandoned from its duty. Dogs ripping corpses apart. Torrent makes everything a lot easier when it comes to grabbing items, that's for sure. Here's the beast she was talking about. Let's see, this is our second merchant we've come across. You're gonna find a whole bunch of these throughout your playthrough. If they sell different things. Most of them usually sell arrows, bolts, but other than that, they usually have something different. Especially these notes. These notes throughout the playthrough are gonna give you information on either secrets, mobs, bosses, etc, etc. It's definitely highly recommended if you have the extra runes to get them when you first play through. Very useful, very, very useful. But especially this merchant, early game, he has access to some smithing stones if you want to get it done quicker. A little bit of extra armor if you want some extra protection. It's got some good poise. Not too bad. It's also got the light crossbow and a bastard sword. 1 stone sword key. Medallion that upgrades your HP. Some good stuff. We'll come back to him most likely. What we're gonna do. See this slipstream here. What you're gonna want to do. See this tower. So you're gonna want to aim yourself so you land on top. Great turtle shell. This is a shield. We can't use it just yet. But this shield in particular, see how it's a medium shield. It's not as good, like protection wise. See, it's not a physical 100%. A little bit less guard boost, which isn't too much. But that physical is the main thing we always worry about. Anyway, long story short, this shield. You play Dark Souls, it's like the Grass Crest shield. Right? It updates or upgrades your stamina recovery speed. Little buff. You can put it on your back and it still works. Very useful. Now, you're going to come across a lot of these towers throughout your playthrough as well. Usually they'll come equipped with one of these little messages out front. Seek 3 wise beasts. So what it means by this, they're all varied. It's all different per tower. They never look the same most of the time. So, let's see this little creature here. Obviously it's a tortoise / turtle. That's 1. That is 2. That is 3. This one's super easy. But they can get difficult. I believe every single one of these in the game except 2 have the same thing in them. This will be your memory stones, which are to increase your memory slots, which are to like hold more spells, incantations / miracles, pyromancies, etc. All that jazz. While we're up here, go ahead and grab this Starlight Shard. You're gonna come across this little area where you see that glowing bit right there. There's gonna be a little field boss that's gonna pop out of that. We'll take care of that, but not just yet. since we have a grace point literally right nearby, it's a lot easier to get things done like that when you're prepared for it. When it's not required. These you're going to come across also throughout your playthroughs. These are considered like Bloodborne Chalice dungeons, technically. There's going to be a whole bunch of dungeons throughout the game. It's either going to be like a cave entrance, or some kind of like crazy looking fancy entrance, or just a doorway like this. Now you're not going to be able to open or teleport while you're inside of these dungeons if it's not complete. Once the boss is dead of the dungeon, then you can teleport if there's no enemies nearby. But simply just if you're at the grace point, just walk outside like so. Then you can teleport down, etc., wherever you want to go. Now you notice up here, it's not foggy like these areas are. Well, it's not just like grayed out. Like this is fog, of course, but it's not grayed out like this area. That's because we picked up the little map stone, or that little map from the map stone just over there. And you'll see, when you've been enough, like around enough in the area, it kind of like unfogs it a bit. So you'll see this it shows us kind of exactly where the map stone is. You just go ahead and put your marker if you need to, if you want to. So you see this one's white in color. This one, it means this one teleports as soon as you get close to it. You gotta be, either use it like magic or a bow from range is definitely the easiest way to get it done. Or you just gotta be quick about it. The long enough weapon. I might not be able to get it done with this weapon. I'll give it a try though. Oh yeah, we got him. Poison Mist. Very, very useful, very, very useful throughout your playthrough. You'll notice you can travel to like pretty much anywhere you can see, as long as it's not like some kind of crazy cliff face or something like that. Or water, of course. Say hello to Mr. Krabs. Okay. So from that map stone, and we went up to get that smithing stone, and just come back down. And jump up on here. You're gonna find these golden little trees throughout your playthrough. These withhold golden seeds for you. These golden seeds are used to upgrade your flask. Very, very useful. Now, the more you upgrade your flask, the more the golden seeds it's going to take. Like, it's going to take 2 eventually, and then 3, 4, 5, etc. So, it should tell you. It does tell you, so just be wary of that. You can always collect stuff on the go when you can. You never know when you're going to need it. So you see that one's red. That one means that it's just for your flasks, for your HP. Still handy if you need them, of course, if you like just fought the golem, or if you want to go fight the golem. You don't have any flasks on you. I find it's a lot easier to fight off the horse. A lot of people like fighting it on the horse. It all depends. Another thing you're going to find throughout the playthrough. These, now, I haven't found any, like, super, like, crazy, like, secret thing hidden around these, but it does offer you some really nice lore. Siege of Castle Morn. A lone hero fights for his vengeance, only to fall at the hand of Lord Godfrey. Now these here, people online and people in the community consider them, you know, sacred. These tortoises. If you do kill them, you get yourself some turtleneck meat, which is definitely used for a recipe, of course. If you need it, that's how you get them. But in my opinion, it's not very much needed, but definitely handy. This room here, it looks like it's going to be used for something, but it never is, unfortunately. It's a nice little room, though. So this here would be Castle Morn. This is where we're going to be delivering the letter to Irina. But we're not going to do that just yet. What we're going to do is a little bit of NPC work and traveling around, etc., etc. Now, if you remember just past Irina, when we were talking about the broken down carriage and whatnot, we picked up a Morning Star. And that's what we're going to be using now. You see that's blood loss on it, so it's very handy. And there's something in particular we're going to go do. If you remember, we talked to Yura. He said, stay away from the ruins. Stay away from Agil Lake. There's a dragon that roosts there. Well, we're going to say hello to that dragon. Now, the way this works, you see this bonfire out in the distance. Just over here on this little island. It depends on which way you're going at it and how close you are to either like the west or the east, north or south, long story short. So I think if we're on this side, yeah, there you go. Perfect. Of course, you can fight this any way you like. The way I like doing it is just waiting it out, pretty much. Wait for your opportunities, nice and easy. Does that attack, he's always going to blow to his left side. They all do the same thing. This attack here, it's usually best to try and get behind him before he lands. He won't be able to hit you. Or far enough away, either or. Now when he goes super far away from you, it's best to go backwards for the time being. That definitely has some distance on it, that breath, and then go ahead and go on in. Kind of like a little reset. Usually when he flies away super far, you know he's gonna do it. Or she. That kind of attack, you can stay there and hit for a little bit, but it's best to play it safe. You'll get it done. You can just ride straight into him for that one, or you go around him and go backwards. Whatever you find easiest in that particular moment. There you go. There's many different ways and things that we can do while we're down here. Easiest way I could say it is, long story short, go ahead and put your markers down if you want for a dungeon there. A dungeon here. Dungeon here. Dungeon here. And dungeon here. If you have that much unfogged, if not, just what you can for now. It's not a big deal. And you can put a teleport marker. This is what I use for teleports. Here. Dungeon here. You don't have to put anything there if you don't want to, but you can put a special for special there, or I like to use this for merchants, or this one. Put that there if you'd like. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back and talk to Yer real quick. Now that we've killed said dragon that he was talking to us, telling us to stay away from. Good man Yura.
Beautiful work, felling that dragon, and as such, there's something you might like to know. The heart you brought back. It's used in dragon communion. If you should find yourself overcome by hunger for the heart, yearning for its strength, then seek the decrepit church on the little island off the western coast. You must not forget, though, those who partake in dragon communion will one day shed their humanity, their hunger for dragon, their yearning only worsens until the floodgates burst, unleashing eternal torment, the strength of a mighty dragon. Magnificent, but deadly. It's no surprise that dragon communion is ruinous.
And there you go. Get your one and only warning. A little bit of foreshadow. There's a couple things you're going to want to do here. If you haven't got that certain crystal lizard per se that Asher wore out in the lake, you're going to want to do so now. We can go ahead and grab that great axe. If it blew up on you, like it did on us. Or I believe there's an Asher War down here as well, which we will go get when we go back and do the hundo for the area. And then when we go, let's see what we're gonna want to do right now. Okay. You'll notice Crab Man. Okay, so it did come back. The item's there too. Interesting. Cool. These are ruins that we will be coming back to. You can do it now if you'd like. It's much easier coming back to it and Just a little bit here. Now, throughout the game, you're going to find these spirits. He's talking of a crystal teardrop. We'll see very shortly what he means by that. Another flask, yeah. Lizard. Bug. You'll notice just on top of that over there.
Hello? Is anybody there? Someone who might be interested in rescuing the great Kenneth Height, servant to the True Order and celebrated repudiator of the false. Oh, Erdtree, grant me succor. Ah, you've come to lend me your aid, have you? Well, that's very kind, but, no. No, the help is very much appreciated, even from a Tarnished. Despite appearances, nobility is no prerequisite to serving the True Order. You might have heard of me, Kenneth Height. Next in line is the rightful ruler of Limgrave, young Tarnished. I would have a boon of you. I want you to take back my fort. It lies to the south, beyond the Mistwood. A knight commander from Stormvale took it. A fool! And plumb mad to boot. Simply obsessed with blood. What are you waiting for? A kiss goodbye? My fort lies to the south, beyond the Mistwood. Take it back for me. Oh, I see. You wish to know the reward. Fret not. The great Kenneth Height is known for his considerable largesse. The celebrations will be lavish indeed upon the dawn of my fort's retrieval. Yes. Now, allow me to furnish you with a little advice. I would take great care to avoid Godric's Tarnished hunts were I in your shoes. That depraved lot are obsessed with sacrificing Tarnished like you for the sake of grafting. Honestly, Godric's nothing more than a jumped-up country bumpkin. Lord? Oh, don't make me laugh. First, he hid himself amongst the womenfolk to flee the capital, then hid from Radahn in that castle. Then he insulted Melania, lost to her in battle, only to lick her boots rather than die like a man. Has he no shame, the big girl's blouse? And to think, he's the blood of Godfrey, last of the golden lineage, though you almost wouldn't know it to look at him. Yeah, I almost feel sorry for the chap the more I think of it.
That is Kenneth Height. Gives you some nice juicy lore there. About the first, that first NPC Veer he was talking about, or Vare, however you want to pronounce his name. He's talking about Godric. Godric the Grafted. So what you're going to want to do from this checkpoint, of course, so first things first, you want to get your map stone. Or what we're going to do is we're going to go down the road. Now, of course, you don't have to do this right now, but we shall. You don't have to kill this either. Just if you need the flasks, of course. And if, the reason it's there is this giant. If you need them. So here we go. Church of America. Get yourself another sacred tear. And here's your first crimson crystal tear. And your flask of wondrous physics. A relic of the physic chemists, priests of the Erd Tree, harnesses the power of crystal tears, which only form after the passage of many moons. Various special effects are bestowed upon the drinker, dependent on the specific mixture of crystal tears. Takes 2. Rest at a site of grace to replenish, just like other flasks. Basins are placed at the feet of minor Erd trees through the lands between in order to collect the crystallized tears. Which means anytime you go around the map and you find yourself a big tree, like so, is most likely, usually, one of those basins guarding one, and or an enemy that has it itself, that has, like, swallowed the item and or basin, kinda, long story short. Yeah. Very useful, very useful. Go ahead and mix it at the grace point. A little extra heal for now. Anytime you're at grace points and you sit down, there's going to be specific areas where you can sit and talk to Melina. This is one of them here. Usually at Churches of America, they're definitely 100% good to go.
Spoken echoes linger here. Words of Queen Marika, who vanished long ago. If you wish, I will share them with you. Very well. In Marika's own words, my lord, and thy warriors, I divest each of thee of thy grace. With thine eyes dimmed, ye will be driven from the lands between. Ye will wage war in a land afar, where ye will live and die. Well, perhaps that might serve you in lieu of a maiden's guidance.
And there you go. Of course, you want to see if you can add flasks when you can. And the sacred tears that we got. Just like the golden seeds, this one's upgrade the power of your flask, so you'll get more potency, etc. Works for both your HP and your FP flasks. Very handy. You're gonna want to head southwest here. To your marker, of course. But if you ever come across these, we're not going to use these since I know where everything is, of course, but if you ever come across these and you want to use these, it'll spawn a little dude that you can follow along. It'll show you to either a dungeon or some kind of secret, per se. Pretty handy. You'll see a lot of these around the Erd trees. But here's the basin. It's just a temporary boost in stamina if you'd like, or charge tax enhancement. Not too bad. Ground slam. It's one of the funniest, if not the best, of the heavy armaments, in my opinion. Early game. You're gonna hear this howling. If you come near these ruins, if you look up, you can see a certain wicked looking character up there. There's a specific way to get him down, and we'll come back to that in just a moment. But before we leave these ruins, what you're going to want to do, grab that rune if you want, but the main thing is to go in this tower, get this treasure chest, go down these ruins, but do not attack the bear. Very important, do not attack the bear. Make your way nice and easy. Let's see, you got yourself your map. Just follow this road down to the fort that Kenneth was talking about. Now offline, you're gonna even see this message offline as well if you're playing offline. Super shiny, open for business.
Welcome, dear customer. Yes, right this way. Well, Carl, you please. I'm hungry.
He's a hungry boy. This one's got a couple more books for you. A better shield. It's got some arrows here. St. Trina arrows. These arrows here are very, very handy against certain enemies and bosses throughout the game. Could be useful in PvP as well, I suppose. But there's some sleep arrows for you. Very handy. If you got the runes to pick them up, I highly recommend you do. And then he's got some smithing stones for you as well, which we'll grab since we're just here. And he's got some festering bloody fingers, which are handy if you want to do PvP. Yeah, you can always come back to him if you'd like.
Ah, hello. How nice of you to stop by again. Please buy something, won't you?
Yeah, because he said so nicely. I'll get one bolt. Thank you. We got the whole gang coming in. This might not be good. This might be the character's first death. It might be good, but it wasn't looking too good. Our horse probably took a good beating from that. Give yourself a little chug. And when you take out a group of enemies, any kind of group of a certain type of enemy, if you kill them all, you'll get your certain amount of floss back. So for this fort, the best way to accomplish this, in my opinion, go ahead and grab your golden seed. Go ahead and pass this enemy however you like. You can wait for him to jump down the stairs. You don't have to get all fancy about it or anything like that. Just take your time. Come in this room here. Grab yourself the cookbook. You can also do that later. Tackle this area as slow as you'd like, as fast as you'd like. It's really up to you. Usually that knight doesn't follow me up here, so this is going to be interesting. I'm going to grab that medallion real quick. He does drop something, but he's a little bit of a pain to fight right now. Much easier to do later. Grab your smithing stone, and then we're good to go. Yeah, the main things that we picked up there was the medallion, and then the seed, and of course the smithing stone is nice as well. You want a total of 12. I need one more. We'll get that along the way, so it'll be all good. Alright, so now what you're gonna do, since we've now seen Bly, the half-wolf, we've talked to Kenneth, we've talked to Bach, that was that little bush, he was hidden in that little bush. We've done Yura's warning, we took out the dragon. We went south, we picked up the letter from Irina that we were supposed to give to her father in Castle Morn. We have unlocked Castle Morn. And now we're going to do a couple things. First things first, Church of Ella.
This way, Tarnished. May I have a word? A pleasure to meet thee, Tarnished. I am the witch Renna. I'd heard tell of a Tarnished hurtling about atop a spectral steed, and upon looking into the matter, the talk, I surmise, is of thee. Thou art possessed of the power, no? To call forth a spectral steed named Torrent. Ah, as I had hoped, I was entrusted this for thee, by Torrent's former master. 'Tis a bell for calling forth spirits. Summon them with it. From ash and return to the Erdtree, the spirits will obey thine command but briefly. As they recall battles past, now it is thine, to do with as thou wishest. Forgive mine intrusion, Tarnished. I doubt we shall again meet. But all the same, learn well the lands between. How long will it be, I wonder, before the tarnished tire of obeisance to the two fingers?
And there she goes. So she gave us a very important item there. This is your bell. A bell capable of summoning various spirits. Uses a little bit of FP, depending on what summon it is. Spirits can only be summoned in the vicinity of the Rebirth Monument. You'll notice these certain monuments. I'll point one out as we go. And then on the left side of your screen, it'll say the same. The monument icon is on the left side of your screen as well. It's like that little white icon that kind of looks like a gravestone. Only one type of spirit may be summoned at once, and none may be summoned during multiplayer. And then, if you go to your Ash page, that one, we got some wolves this time around. Some of my favorite. What you're going to want to do, if you want to use them, of course, since this is a guide to make it literally as easy as possible, go ahead and equip them on your menu there. You'll notice we have a talisman slot as well. Put our talisman there for equipping or enhancing our charge attacks, which we've also done with the flask. So we've got some pretty decent charge attack damage at the moment. Okay, now there's multiple different ways you can do this at this point. Where if whatever you want to do, you can go to the dungeons now, etc., etc. We're gonna go at this in a specific order for NPC purposes for your 100%. So from Church of Ella, of course. So you got the surroundings.
Weren't you? Well, you're back. Care to buy something?
About the howling in the Mistwood.
The howl of a wolf. In the Mistwood. I suppose he must still be skulking about. I know. Why not meet him for yourself? Next time you hear the wolf's howl, make this signal right under the source. Oh, don't fret. There is nothing to fear. I just have an inkling the two of you might hit it off.
There's a certain emote.
There are others of my people who yet survive in these lands. If the mood takes you and you meet one, then offer them some trade, won't you? My people, wanderers all have long been spurned by the grace of gold, which is why we cannot settle, but instead are forced into this pitiful, unceasing journey. But thanks to that, things are not so different for us now, though the Elden Ring is shattered. I think this makes us kindred spirits of sorts. Your people, the Tarnished, and mine. Perhaps you don't need to hear this, but see that no harm comes to my kin. We have a saying, we wanderers, lament not your solitude. Expect no sympathy, no regard, nothing. But if anyone dares harm us, show them no mercy. That is our code, so to speak. Just the way we are, deeply unforgiving. Goodbye for now.
There you have it. Don't be harming the merchants like it's Resident Evil 4. Alright, so we're going to want to head southwest here once again. Yourself another merchant.
What do you need? I don't want any trouble.
He also has another book for you, very useful. Notes on trolls, good little parrying shield. Not too bad. It's got some more smithing stones for us, which we will take. Some poison cures, bleed cures, sleep cure.
All done? Well.
Yeah, notice these nasty enemies throughout the game as well. These octopus-like creatures. Be wary of them. But we're coming here for this. You'll notice this. You're obviously going to want to have to stop this in its tracks. The easiest way I find to do it, if you don't have a spell to do so, just wait for it, just watch it a little bit, know where it's coming. But always, most weapons, it's easier to one-hand, I find. You get a better swing on it. Whereas, like, if you're two-handing, it's usually an overhand. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to hit. So, always one-hand it, in my opinion. That's how you get that. I went too far again. There it is right there.
Oh. What are you doing here? You must leave this place at once. They'll rush in and beat you to a pulp. You'll end up just like me. Oh. What are you doing here?
So it gives you a little warning at least. You got yourself another incantation you could put on as well. And since we got another memory stone earlier, we can use another one. So at this point, if you want, if you've picked up any of these runes around the outskirts, you can go ahead and use these. Or from the bosses, etc., etc. What we're going to want to do is 1 into Faith, and 3 into Arcane. And we're actually going to save the rest for now, just in case, for something later. Here's your other summoning pool. Now, like I said, if you're online, if you really want to, if you're playing with a friend or whatever you want to do, once again, if you have Erdleaf flowers that you've been collecting out in the world, you can go ahead and craft these finger remedies. Go to your menu, use these there, or you can go to the multiplayer menu, use them there, or set them up to whichever bar you want, this bar or this bar, like so. And if there's anyone around your level there at the time, when you use your finger, they'll pop up here as golden signatures. Of course, at the time I'm playing, there's not likely going to be anyone around here. But that's how you unlock multiplayer and or invasions, etc. You notice there was actually an NPC. There was a golden sign before we got to that door. We could have summoned an NPC to help that, help out for the fight. There's numerous throughout the game that you can use if you'd like to, but just be wary. Even if it's an NPC or if it's a human person, no matter anytime you summon one person, it's gonna make the bosses stronger, the enemies stronger, etc. Same if you summon two people, it makes it even stronger. Just be wary of that. Whereas your Ash summons don't make it any stronger at all, as far as I know. If it does, it's like very not noticeable, literally. But I'm pretty sure it doesn't. So here we go. This is the Church of Dragon Communion that Yura was talking about. Now, if you want, you can buy one of these three here, that dragon that we killed. But I highly recommend you hold off on it for now. You'll see why. Okay, from there, my little route I like to take from here, just to make sure we don't miss any kind of NPCs or anything like that before we continue on to collect everything. Go ahead and start from the gate front, or actually, there's two ways we could do this. We could go this way, then the gate front. It's probably best to go this way first. You don't have to go this way first, but we'll go this way first. So from Calais, he gave us the emote, snappy finger snap. Go ahead and use that here. Meet one of the best NPCs.
Carly sent you, did he? Ever the bloody busybody. Maybe to him you don't seem so strange. The name's Blythe. I'm looking for a man who goes by Darrowell. He fled somewhere nearby. Or so I've heard. Come tell me if you find him before I do. I can offer you ample reward. Darrowell is nothing but a traitor, and in need of a fitting end to his tale. Darrowell is nothing.
And there you go. That's his exhausted dialogue. That's one little item we can quickly grab out in the forest here. It's not super necessary, but if you want it. Falchion. Very, very handy. Very, very good weapon. There's also a shield nearby as well. I seem to, for some reason, pass it. Should be close to the falchion, though. Should be. Anyway, what we're going to want to do now that we've seen Blythe, go back to the gate front. There's certain NPCs that move quite fast depending on what you do with your playthrough. So it's best to... Sometimes it's only just like little like secret dialogue. It doesn't, you don't actually miss anything, but sometimes it's actually worth going out of the way for it. So yeah, this is going to be super risky. I highly recommend you kind of just lure them all out first, or kill them one by one, whatever you want to do. I find it easier to just rush it most of the time, but that one was pretty risky. Get yourself a talisman there. Might not be able to. Oh, we got lucky with the roll. Okay. So yeah, just be careful how you do that one there. Block with your shield, lure them out, whatever you gotta do. That's your Evergalls. We shall come back to that as well. Those Evergalls are 1v1s against a certain type of enemy. You can't summon anything in there, nothing like that. So unless you want to whittle away at it with a little bleed weapon or a terrible weapon in general, or an upgraded weapon in general, then you can always just come back to it, which we shall. When we do our general collecting.
Everyone's been grafted. Everyone who came with me. They crossed the sea for me. They fought for me. Only to have their arms taken. Their legs taken. Even their heads taken. Taken and stuck to the spider. Did you know? If you're grafted by the spider, you become a chrysalid. It's quite a lark when you think about it. You're all on your own, are you? And heading to Stormvale Castle? Enticed by the one in the white mask, I suppose. Oh, you've come to be one with the spider? Well, that makes us two peas in a pod. But I don't have your courage. It's scary, you know, having your arms cut off. Or legs, or your head. I want to be like everyone else, but I'm just too scared. I'm nothing but a craven. I know. Can you take this little one along with you? The poor thing deserves someone braver than myself. And the spirits look rather fondly upon you. It'll be glad of your company, I think, the little un. It was a pleasure to see you. Oh, can you pass on a message for me? If you see the little chrysalids in Stormvale Castle, tell them I love them. And that, despite my craven heart, I'm sure I'll be joining their club soon enough. I'm finally getting the hang of this whole pain thing, you know. It was a pleasure to see you. Oh.
Pleasure to see you too. And of course, every time you sit down, make sure if you can talk to Melina or not. Melina.
This tiny golden aura is the grace of the Erd Tree. This light once shone in the eyes of your tarnished brethren, but now it is all that guides you. Also, I hear you can see them, can't you? The rays of grace that guide you through your burden. Upon the cliff in Castle Stormvale is a shard bearer, a demigod, who inherited a fragment of the shattered Elden Ring. If the rays of grace signal the castle, then the Elden Ring beckons you. As an ally by pact, I pray that you are fit to face the challenge presented by the ring. Upon the cliff, a demigod. If the rays, then the Elden. As an ally, pray to face the challenge presented by the ring.
And then always remember to make sure you've upgraded your flasks as much as you can. Distribute them how you want. Check your physic flask. Make sure that's what you want.
Shall I turn your let my hand rest? Share them.
Level up if you'd like. We'll save ours for now. And that's actually we're gonna leave off for episode 1. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you kindly. And if you'd like the video, if you like our path so far, hopefully you're enjoying it, and hopefully your adventure's going smoothly, however way you're taking it. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. I appreciate any new followers and or subscribers to the channels, etc. like that. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers for now.